Welcome to 5.9 webinar, How to Manage and Protect Hyper-V with a Single Tool. So today we're going to speak about the Hyper-V and the way you can really enhance your management experience and protection for your current environment. So the problems we are going to cover today will be how to manage different versions of Hyper-V hosts from a single console. This is the question which some of you have been asking for a while because you're in the process of moving from 2008 to 2012 or thinking of upgrading to 2012 R2, and definitely you want to have this kind of a solution which will let you manage everything from the single instance. System Center allows you to do that, but the price of it is really high. And what 5.9 is doing right now, we're providing you with the functionality which will be sufficient for you to manage your Hyper-V environment effectively, but still pay much less for that. The second thing we're going to cover today is how to get a convenient GUI management interface on core versions of Windows Server and Microsoft Hyper-V Server. So this is something what is really important, especially if you're not familiar with PowerShell or you don't really have time exploring the functionality it offers. So we are going to cover how you're going to do that with the help of 5.9. The management functionality from older systems like Windows 7 x64 and managing the Hyper-V host of 2012 R2 releases from that systems, and vice versa. How can you manage the Hyper-V 2008 R2 from the most recent Windows 8.1 installation? How to manage the host if domain controller is down or the management machine is not a part of domain. And finally, how to protect your Hyper-V hosts and virtual machines with the absolutely hypervisor aware and performance effective antivirus. So these main bullets are going to be covered today, and the product which is going to fulfill these needs will appear on your screen very shortly. This is 5.9 security standard for Hyper-V, and the most recent version of this tool is version 3.8. So as you can see on the screen, it allows you to manage any number of virtual machines and hosts sitting on your environment, and it also allows you to manage your clusters. So you see that right now on my screen, I show you that there is a cluster, there's 2 Hyper-V hosts in it, and I can also manage them also individually. So whenever I add a host, and you see that I can specify custom credentials, and this is pretty important, especially whenever you need to manage this system without having the management machine on the same domain. So this is domain independent functionality, and this allows you to specify the user to be used, so domain administrator for the network you're in, and to use those credentials to connect to the hosts needed and to manage them. So this really solves the question, how can I manage the Hyper-V host when the management machine is out of the domain and just connected to the network. So here you go, here you can do that. On the left, you just notice that I have several Hyper-V hosts. So these Hyper-V hosts versions can be 2008 R2 SP1, 2012, and 2012 R2. So all of these Hyper-V hosts are supported, and all of them will be visible for you in this management console. So all of them can be managed. You're also wondering, how can I manage all of this from Windows 7 x64 computer, or how can I manage and just make changes with 2008 R2 from 8.1 Windows system. So also, whenever you install the tool, you'll have this option, and the system requirements needed for 5.9 security standard for Hyper-V be only .NET Framework version 4, and also it needs a SQL Express database or Microsoft SQL running inside your environment. So all we just need to have connection to that, and that this will allow us to keep the most antivirus logs in there. So this is what we use it for. So please make sure that before you run the installation of Linux User Center for Hyper-V, you have an instance of SQL Server that you can point the program to. So just a minor requirement. And .NET Framework, of course, it's included in 2012 and 2012 R2 Hyper-V hosts, but for 2008 R2 SP1, this is something which has to be installed in there. The management console you can see on the screen now, so it includes the main management functionality, and also it allows you to, of course, connect and modify virtual machines, connect to them, create new virtual machines, and all of this functionality, actually everything you see on your screen now, will be also available even if you use the core version of Windows Server or if you run it on the core Hyper-V server. So imagine whenever you launch the Hyper-V host, which used to be just two windows, blue and a black one. So right now you can get this nice GUI interface and use it to manage your Hyper-V hosts. So the troubleshooting is also very important, that you know that whenever you have some kind of networks problems, or you need to make sure that your domain controller is running, the main controller is running on the virtual machine. So this tool will be absolutely essential for you. You can either connect to the Hyper-V host remotely, or you can do the troubleshooting locally on your Hyper-V host. And that, of course, absolutely supported. So you see that the few main icons you can see here. Also, you can import virtual machines. You can even transmit Hyper-V settings between different hosts, and you can see this on my screen now. So Hyper-V settings allows you to specify this and also apply these settings to other hosts. So this is pretty convenient and very important whenever you run larger Hyper-V environments. And as I mentioned to you before, you can basically use it on any imaginable Hyper-V environment. The create a virtual disk and edit virtual disk options allow you to compress and extend virtual hard disks, add them to virtual machines later. So these are options also available for you even if you do that outside of a domain, even if you do this on your core Hyper-V host locally. So everything you see on the screen is available inside the software. The options which are supported by Hyper-V hosts are very smoothly transmitted, just dependent on the Hyper-V host version you're using, and you can easily see that there are few parameters you can also check for each virtual machine, like CPU usage, assigned memory, memory demand, memory status, and uptime. So everything will be available after you turn on the virtual machine. So all of these parameters are available for you. Clone export function is also available, and the live export and cloning is available for 2012 R2. The cloning in shutdown mode is available for 2012 version of Hyper-V host, but you won't get an error at any time, just because it appears whenever this function is supported by the Hyper-V host. So everything is supported very natively for you. And as you see on my screen, there is also a snapshots tile, so the brief preview, and right now just below the snapshot pane you can see that there is a mount transfer disk option. So this is actually a very valuable, even though it is a small button option. This option allows you to transfer files between virtual machines even if you don't have network connection between them. So all you use to transfer files using the virtual transfer disk, you just use the cast console. So whenever you mount transfer disk to the virtual machine, it basically appears on an external hard drive for that virtual machine, and you're able to transmit files between virtual machines within the host or between virtual machine and the host by itself. So this is a very time-saving technology, and if RTP is not available or you want to transmit huge files, transfer disk will allow you to do that, and it will allow you to transmit files up to 127 gigabytes. So really, really huge files, and you can even copy them there and keep them for a while, like the way you do with external hard drive. That option can be also managed through the 559 file manager, which is also part of the product. And of course, it is a convenient one and especially handy whenever you use it on core version of HyperV. So if you use a core version of HyperV, you lag the file manager there, so you have to go through command lines to get files running and modify them. So the basic file manager, 2 panes, something you got used to, copy files, modify files, everything is available for you in here. Very convenient, saves you tremendous amount of time. So this is about the file manager. The virtual network manager allows you to manage virtual networks on your host level. So each host has its own set of external, internal, and private networks. So you can easily create and modify the ones you have in here. And if you created the virtual networks already and you use the HyperV manager for that, you'll be able to see them all in here. So the transition is absolutely seamless. So whatever you see in HyperV Manager, you'll absolutely see inside 5.9 security standard for HyperV. So and vice versa. So it's absolutely compatible with each other. So I just created the external network, and you see that I can specify the network adapter I want to use for that. So that is also very straightforward, something absolutely essential. And what's really great about it, that's also available even if you're using and managing the HyperV host from outside the domain, and also even if you do that changes locally on HyperV host or Windows Server core. And by the way, actually that's a Microsoft recommendation to convert the Windows Server running the HyperV role and running virtual machines to a core state to reduce the attack surface, make the footprint smaller, and reduce time needed for backup, for example. So even if you use the full version of Windows Server, but want to follow the Microsoft recommendation and convert to your HyperV host running on Windows Server, you can use the Finance Security Standard for HyperV to manage that later locally in case you need some kind of troubleshooting. So also very convenient. On the System Status Report tab, you see that there is a very convenient and complete information in few tables about your HyperV host and virtual machine sitting on that host. And that information includes the virtual disks, the CPUs, the memory, everything whatever is assigned to the virtual machine. So if you need to have an overlook, if you want to save that for later, you're able to do that, and you're able to do that in one place. And of course, this report is exportable, so you can export an Excel, PDF, or Word, or print it out for later reference. If you have some clients, that seems to be invaluable for you, because whenever you're done with the project or you want to update them on the status, or you need to prove them that there is a need for hardware upgrade, System Status Report is absolutely needed, and this is something what really can help you when you do that. And the snapshots table is also very helpful, so you want to keep an eye on that, and whenever you have a certain number of snapshots, that's the time to shut down the virtual machine and let them merge. So if you use snapshots, that can be also pretty helpful. You don't have to click on each virtual machine, just get the report and you will see all the snapshots present in there, and this will give you a fast overview of what you need to do. The failover cluster manager tab is effective whenever you have a cluster. So whenever you install the failover cluster manager and the failover cluster roles on your HyperV hosts and combine them into a cluster. So at this point, failover cluster manager tab allows you to monitor what is happening with the storage of your HyperV host, and with the not just host but cluster shared volumes, the volume label, volume path, disk info, and the capacity. All this data will be available for you to check out. And you know that's very important. We started the failover cluster management functionality with that particular feature because it's very important. Whenever the cluster shared storage lacks the space, the virtual machines go into the post state without any notice. So this is something important to keep an eye on. And on failover cluster managed tab, you'll see that. And this is something we are working on right now and extending the functionality pretty fast. So this tab will gain new functions very soon. And as a finance security standard user, you know that our product is subscription based, so you're entitled to upgrades and support throughout the subscription period, and therefore whenever new functions appear, you'll be also able to use them as a part of upgrade of the software. So you see that all of that available for you to check out and use for your cluster. The very important part is antivirus, and for now we are done with management. Hopefully we answered all 4 questions we had on our second slide. So you can manage the GUI-less environments, core versions of HyperV server or Windows server. You can use the finance security standard for HyperV to manage different versions of HyperV hosts, including 2008 R2 SP1, 2012 and 2012 R2. You can use it to perform management outside of domain environment, and you can also use it to manage the later versions of HyperV hosts from previous versions of workstations, client operating systems, and vice versa. So you can use the previous version of HyperV host with the latest version of client software. So this is what you can do on the management functionality. And failover cluster management is the functionality we're expanding right now, and this is something which should be included as a part of your upgrade for the software. The antivirus protection is the one probably most of you are looking for your current HyperV installation, and the reason is it's very important that the antivirus is absolutely hypervisor aware and the performance is effective. If some of you tried to use the old style, the endpoint antivirus protection and run it inside each of your virtual machine, you could probably see some severe performance decreases and some problems, and it made you put less virtual machines on HyperV hosts, or even avoid using antivirus on your virtual machines, on hosts and guest virtual machines at all. And you know that most of the virtual machines you're running are still Windows ones. If you have some Linux, probably it is less vulnerable to antivirus, to virus attacks, but still you need to protect your Windows systems wherever they run. Is it a physical machine or a virtual machine running inside your HyperV environment? So antivirus by 5.9 is the antivirus which is absolutely hypervisor aware, and the one which was built specifically for Hyper-V, and this is the one which uses the performance maximum effectively, and this is something which doesn't require you to put anything inside the virtual machine to perform full system antivirus scans, for example. So this is called agentless scanning or host-based scanning. So we access the VHD and VHDX files of your virtual machines, hard drives, and scan them without need to access inside the virtual machine. So virtual machine can be even shut down to do that, and you can still perform the antivirus scan. So this is the part which allows you to save a really huge amount of performance, and this is also something that allows you to still be confident about your Hyper-V protection. The change block tracking driver built inside the antivirus is also very important. This is something which allows you to perform incremental scans, and incremental scans are allowing you to perform the full antivirus scan for the virtual machine and still keep it a full system antivirus scan. And the meantime, the time you need for that is just 2 to 7 minutes per virtual machine, unless you install huge number of files of software inside. So basically it works this way. So whenever you perform the first scan, the change block tracking driver records the information required, and it records all the occupied blocks of your virtual hard disk. So whenever you launch the next scan, you don't need to do anything. Just the change block tracking driver does it for you. It just checks the blocks which are different since the last scan, and it scans only those blocks of your virtual hard disk. And you know that you really change more than 1,000, 2,000 files on the virtual machine, which is not making some crazy file operations or performing installations. So this is something mean of course that might vary from environment to environment, but the medium time, so something what we observe, just 2 to 7 minutes per virtual machine for full system antivirus scan using the change block tracking driver. So very, very fast and very performance effective. So let's probably go through the create job wizard for the antivirus, and I'll show you that whenever you use Five Nights Security Standard, you can scan virtual machines and the host, the local host that you currently running the service on, and you can also scan that with 2 antivirus engines. And just uh, pay attention, you have 2 engines, worldwide antivirus engines, that are included into the product subscription. So both of them, nothing to purchase over that. Viper, G5 Viper and Sophos, both engines updated on daily basis, worldwide brands, very known and very good working. Both of them are included inside the product. So G5 Viper and Sophos, you can feel free to choose which one you prefer. Nothing to acquire extra. It's included inside the software. So let's pick up softwares, for example, for this demo scan, and you see that, well, on the next step, you just specify the virtual machines to be scanned, and you can schedule. This is the full system scan schedule, so you can schedule the scan for all virtual machines, for some of them, and also you can specify whatever you want to be scanned, so those extensions, and you can also run exclusions, which may be pretty important for some kinds of databases or mail systems. So you can also exclude some folders from being scanned whenever you create an antivirus job. The final job scheduling window allows you to run job immediately, delay the run, or create recurrent job, and this can happen on a very flexible basis, daily, weekly, or monthly, different timing. So this is what you can do. So whenever you reach the final page, it gives you the full overview of the job you created, and it adds it to the scheduled jobs window. So this is very effective, and this is something which allows you to create very flexible scanning process for your system. And as I mentioned, 2 to 7 minutes minimum time for virtual machine to be scanned, and this is fully orchestrated. As we know about the system performance, we know about the hypervisor existence and virtual machines existence, no antivirus storms ever possible. So no simultaneous antivirus scans running from inside virtual machines will ever appear inside your environment. So this is also very important. This will definitely raise the virtual machine density per host for you, and it will still keep the performance very, very high. The very last tab is called Active Protection tab. So this is something you can leverage to protect your virtual machines in real time. So these virtual machines can be protected with a tiny agent, real-time agent inside the virtual machine. The reason we need that to perform real-time protection while the virtual machine is operating, because we need to monitor the processes just talking to each other. We need to monitor some registry keys being changed, and all of this are happening inside the virtual machine only. So for that specific reason, we need a presence of some kind of a tiny active protection agent inside your virtual machine. But if you don't need that, that's up to you. It's not a must to install that agent inside. So the full system scans are fully agentless, and you leverage both G5 and Viper engines. For active protection, we use the G5 Viper very fast scanning model, and this allows us to perform these scans very fast. So active protection is doable, and you can just push an agent if you need it. If you don't, you can just avoid that and keep your system running on full system scanning. So this is probably it about the product. So we just summarized the management perspectives and antivirus protection for your Hyper-V host and virtual machines. And I have just one more really great offer for you. As you know, Christmas is approaching very, very fast. Right now, we are excited to offer you a Christmas offer for 5.9 security standard for Hyper-V. So this offer allows you to get a 1-year extra license, a subscription, support, and upgrade for absolutely free. So all you do is just you get a 1-year license, and the second year license you get for free. Please note that this offer is effective till December 31st, 2013. Right now, we're starting the questions and answers session. So we'll probably run it for 5 to 10 minutes. Please find the question box at the bottom right corner of your screen and go to webinar window. So please put your questions in there. I'll be happy to answer them. Can we manage a cluster from 5.9 Manager that is created virtual machine and manage virtual machine like in Cluster Manager? So right now we are expanding the functionality, so you'll be able to see all virtual machines present in the cluster. You'll be able to perceive how they're running there, so perform all the main operations in there for your virtual machines. Also, you'll be able to check out the cluster shared storages, and we are also expanding the functionality, so you'll be able to convert between clustered virtual machine, between clustered mode and non-clustered mode, and vice versa. So this functionality is going to be expanded. But whenever you go to Cluster Manager, so you open up a Cluster Environment Manager console, you'll be able to perform operations with it. Can you manage hosts on different networks? So you see that you need to have a connection to a network, so that's very important. If you have established the VPN connection, that you're good to go. But that's necessary. If you have that, so you're in the same network, so whatever domain the Hyper-V host is sitting on, please go forward. You get a VPN, you just put in custom credentials, you connect to Hyper-V host, and you can manage that. Good overview. Thank you, Doug. Okay. Question: I have VMs that move from one host to another in my cluster. Okay, so this is supported. The live migration is supported between the cluster nodes. So whenever you set up a cluster, you can live migrate virtual machines from one node to another. And that's available via move function. Antivirus schedules. So how do I manage the antivirus schedules in the case virtual machines move from one node to another in the cluster? As you create the antivirus schedule, basing it on a virtual machine, basically. So whenever you check that, and when I was showing you how you schedule the antivirus job, so this is based on the virtual machine by itself. So you create the schedule, and the virtual machine will keep scanning, and the changeable tracking driver information will be live migrated across your different hosts. So all the info will be still present for the virtual machine. So the incremental scans will be still possible. Alex, if I understand correctly, I will be able to remove my existing antivirus from my VMs and then use your built-in antivirus. Does this provide the same level of protection as, say, McAfee Enterprise Edition or something comparable? So you see that we provide antivirus protection with worldwide known antivirus engines. So 5.9 is past that, providing the solutions for Hyper-V. So we provide the management and we provide the security for that. But to make you 100% protected, and we are partnered with companies like G5 and to use their G5 Viper engine, and Sophos to use their Sophos engine, and both of these are very well known, very secure brands, and these are the ones, the companies which provide you with daily updates. So even several times per day, they can also provide you with updates of their anti-malware databases. So they're absolutely secure. The same way you compare the McAfee with Sophos, this absolutely applies in here. The also good difference is you can use two engines. So for example, you can use Sophos for full system scanning, and you'll be using the G5 for the active protection. So both of them are very, very good. would you recommend just running the active scan and only the schedule scan should a virus outbreak occur? Actually, the need for a full system scan, scheduled scan, just can't be because of your compliance regulations inside the company. But just if you're good with active protection scanning, okay, you're good to go. Please use the active protection agent inside and still be protected. Uh, Something important here. So you know that from time to time, even if you use active protection, yes, still antivirus vendors recommend you to run that full system scan. So, and as you noticed that the full system scans are as fast using the finance security standard, so you can leverage the change block tracking driver and perform incremental scans. So there is no particular reason to avoid that. So you can truly be good with active protection agent only, but the scheduled scan happening incrementally, agentlessly, just won't hurt. Seriously, this is something very beneficial for your environment anyway. So every time we run a scheduled scan, it creates a snapshot. Would there be any reason to keep it? So if you have some kind of snapshot creation policy, this is up to you. So if you want to tie the antivirus scanning process to snapshot creation, please do. You can surely keep those snapshots. And these snapshots work absolutely the same um, as you just do whenever you use the HyperV Manager and you create a snapshot. So you can do that, and if you have any reason to keep them, please do. We don't limit you on that. Okay, thank you very much, everyone. Thank you for your attention, and you're absolutely welcome to our next webinars. Please follow our announcements, and please accept our Christmas offer. This is a really great offer. This is something which doesn't happen too often, so this is a really great deal. Just 2 years for the price of 1 year, including support and upgrades. And just $149 per host per year, the antivirus protection and management. So thank you again, and see you next time. Goodbye.